Well, we've got a full house here. Welcome everybody for another Wayside Furniture and Blind & Sons Studio C live performance. And today, a very special guest joins us. His first visit to Studio C, but someone that I've known personally going back a number of albums, back to before I was even in Ohio. My good friend, Mr. Charlie Mars, is here. Welcome, Charlie. So, Charlie just came in from his home out near Oxford, Mississippi. He is specifically coming in for this concert tonight at Musica, my birthday party, the Savage Birthday Bash. So, Charlie, thanks for making the trip, and congrats on Times Have Changed, the excellent recent release. And so far, what are your impressions of Akron, Ohio today?
I had an excellent cup of coffee at the Akron Coffee Roasters.
Very nice, yep.
The delivery person from Uber Eats was exemplary.
Yep.
Last night, and it's been limited.
Right. Well, we'll hang out at Musica. That's good. Oh, and what did you? I understand you went into CAK, our Akron Canton Airport. Did you like our fine airport?
I did. It was surreal because there was hardly anyone there.
Well, they're working on that, and a whole bunch of new routes coming your way. That's great. So, Mr. Charlie Mars is our guest for Studio C. And how about a first song? What do you want to play first for us here today?
A song called Country Home.
This is on the Times Have Changed album, and if you want to set it up or just take it away, that's great. Charlie Mars in Studio C.
Do you want me to tell you the story about it or just play it?
Yeah, please. That'd be great.
I moved, well, let me back up. During the shutdown, I'm getting a little feedback on the monitor. You might bring it down to here. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, during the shutdown, I was spending an overextended amount of time on Instagram. And I was finding myself rabbit holing on puppies. And then I started to debate if I was going to get a puppy, which one of these 40 million puppies am I gravitating towards? And then somehow I wound up on these dogs. They're called Cane Corsos. Yeah. And they are incredibly cute puppies. As adults, they are incredibly violent and aggressive, which I wasn't thoroughly educated about when I decided to contact a man in Brazil that had a litter of these puppies that were like wrinkly teddy bear fluff ball things. And so next thing I know, I'm FaceTiming this guy in Brazil, and then next thing I know, I said, I'll take it. And then next thing I know, I'm in Arkansas at the airport, and there's a puppy from Brazil. And then I took it home, and it was incredible. And then 6 weeks later, he weighed like 160 pounds and was trying to kill everybody. So at the time, I was living in a very small cabin, and I found a place that was 20 miles away from there that I could afford to purchase, which was a large tract of land that I moved to. It had a small house on it, and I moved there solely for the dog. And then my sort of adventure as a country living person began. And, I lived in a college town, Oxford, Mississippi, for a very long time, which is just sort of typical in many ways of a college town. And now I lived very rurally, and I thought that the town I lived in was colorful until I started to meet the people in rural Mississippi that lived out by me. So I was walking my dog one day, and we got attacked by these two dogs. And then a man who was like 7 feet tall and looked like a Viking, and he had all this Harley stuff. He like came out of the pines. And he helped the dogs break up the fight. And then he had these two dogs. They ended up being his dogs, which I didn't know. He had them by the collar, and he looked at me and he said, "Your dog will heal." And then he walked back into the pines with these dogs. And then I was sort of flustered by the whole thing, and I was walking with my dog back to my house, and I saw another neighbor of mine. He was in the bushes, and he's an HVAC repairman, and so he had a workman suit with a shirt on that has his name on it, his name is Brock. And I had already met him before. And I said, "Brock," and he popped out of the bushes, and he had a really large crossbow in his hands. And I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I heard an echo in my holler, and I just wanted to be ready." I'm just trying to give you a little bit of the landscape. And so then I went back up to the house, and I put my dog in his crate after I kind of bandaged him up. And I wrote half a song. And then I took a break, and I went to this, it's called a feed store. It's like a farm supply, close-ish to where I live. And there's a man there in his 80s. His name is Mr. Bowles. And he always rips on me kind of like in a playful way when I go in there. He sits in a red vinyl chair. And then he'll just say things like about how I'm inexperienced and know nothing. And so I was telling him about an issue I was having, and he said, "You need triple 13 fertilizer." And I'd never heard of that, but I liked the way it sounded, triple 13. It just sounded kind of dark and cool. And so I got back to the house, and I finished the song, and I used that interaction with Mr. Bowles in the song. So this is the song I wrote about my life out there in the country. It's called Country Home. That was the short version.
Finally got out of town, found a place on the county road. Don't know what I'm doing yet, I never lived like this before. I can't say I'm a country boy, this country don't care about me. I'm just holding on out here in the land of the free. Now I'm living like my pet bull on the tractor, and me a bouncing on his knee, making my way to the country store to find a little something sweet. Mama, she rocking on that front porch, the dog is tripping on the bone. I finally got out, and I found myself a country home. Take my life down a clay driveway through a pasture tall and green to Mr. Bowles at the Valley store, 'cause I need that triple 13. I get home and I miss you, babe. I don't know about my friends, 'cause since I got out, oh, I never really hear from them. Now I'm living like my pet bull on the tractor, and me a bouncing on his knee, making my way to the country store to find a little something sweet. Mama, she rocking on that front porch. The dog was tripping on a bone. I finally got out and I found myself a country home. Where the road meets the gravel bay and the light gives way to the stars. Call me on your phone, 'cause you're half a mile away from my country home. Half a mile away from my pepper on the tractor, me a bouncing on his knee. I'll be making my way to the country store to find a little something sweet. Mama, she rocking on that front porch. The dog is tripping on a bone. I finally got out and I found myself a country home. I ain't singing that same old song. Oh, 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 'cause I found myself a country home.
We are live in another Wayside Furniture and Blind & Sons Studio C session for Summit members. Our guest is Charlie Mars, and we just heard Country Home, a true story about the Cane Corso Mastiff puppy. And what is the dog's name, by the way?
Kudzu.
Kudzu. Love it. And
Do y'all have kudzu here?
No.
It's an invasive weed that grows. Like, have you ever seen the cover of REM Murmur?
Oh, yeah.
That's kudzu. Oh. It's a kind of a Spanish mossy weed-looking thing that grows everywhere. And so that's kind of like my dog.
Right. Well, what is his weight now, and how old is he now?
Yeah, he weighs 165 pounds.
Oh, my gosh.
And he's 2.5.
He's 2.5 now.
Yeah.
Wow. So that inspired, moving out to the country, a little space for him, a little space for you. Is it true, by the way, did you finance the purchase of the dog through crypto?
Yep.
That's amazing.
I never even heard of crypto. I mean, I heard of Bitcoin, but my neighbor, who's kind of nerdy, he was telling me like he was trading them on his phone during COVID and was making all this money. And so I thought I'll do that. And then I just lost all my money, except for in frustration. One day this coin came available called Shiba Inu, which is named after a dog. And I thought, no one will ever buy this. So everything that I've done was an educated choice, I thought, and I lost. So I'll do the dumbest thing I can think of, and I'll just take all the money I have left and put it on this dog coin.
Yep.
And then, of course, it went up like 25 times what I paid for it.
Amazing.
And then I just cashed it all in and bought a dog in Brazil. They're expensive.
Well, and that sounds like the normal songwriter approach to things, right? So did you end up making more money in that than as a musician and songwriter?
No, that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
I just had the one dog coin thing, and then I blew it all on the dog.
On the dog.
And then I'd stopped messing with it.
Stopped. Okay. But see, that's kind of poetic, though. It's almost like there's a reason that it happened that way, to bring this dog into your life.
I think so.
Yeah.
I used to rip on people who talked about their dog all the time, and now I have one, and now I'm talking about my dog all the time. So whatever.
Well, Mr. Charlie Mars is our guest here for Studio C on the Summit. And how about another one? Which song do you want to do next for us here?
The next song I'm going to do is called Fat Dad.
Also on the new record? Tell us the story on this one.
Fat Dad?
Yeah.
There's a part of Florida, it's on the Emerald Coast, the Gulf Coast, northern kind of panhandle of Florida. And my family, when we were little kids, my grandpa had when he was retired, he had a condo down there, but his was like in an area that was not it wasn't like swanky or anything. But then I started playing this songwriter festival down there called the 30A Songwriters Festival, and it ended up being in a really swanky area. And one time I played there, and then this couple hired me to play a backyard party at their house. And then afterwards they were kind of drunk, and the guy this house probably cost $1 trillion. And it was on the beach. And afterwards, like I said, they were drinking a lot, and the man who owned the house said, "You can come down here and write your songs or whatever you do in the off season if you want." And I said, "And stay here?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, well, this was in January." I said, "Who'll be here on Monday?" And he said, "Nobody." And so there I was on Monday at this $1 trillion house. And then I had such a good time that I just would go down there when I could. And I was down there in the summertime, and I was drinking a cup of coffee at this coffee shop, and then this Range Rover pulled up at the stop sign right in front of me. It was pristine and white, and this man had a large white linen shirt covering an incredibly portly torso. And he had on he was real swaggy, like stylish sunglasses and a gold watch and a gold necklace. And his wife looked like she worked at the Lululemon.
Right, yep.
And he had 2 daughters, and they had on mirrored aviator sunglasses, and I couldn't tell what they were doing. But when he pulled away from the stop sign, he made a motion towards me like he was shooting me with a pistol, like, you know, how people do. But he did it affectionately, kind of like, "Hey." And then instinctively, I was like, "Yeah." And it just sort of made me laugh. And then as he was pulling away, I thought, I'm going to write a song about that guy when I get home. And so I did. And this is it. It's called Fat Dad.
I like to roll with my fat dad, he's got a fat pad. Roll with my family down to 38. Daddy used to hang down in Destin, but now we're rolling. Yeah, we're rolling, but we ain't no pushover. Fat daddy's got that banging Range Rover, oh yeah. Everybody down here loves my fat dad.
One thing you need to know is the song was written from the daughter's perspective. And at this point in writing the song, I didn't really know where to take it. And I saw a teenager riding by. He was listening to hip-hop music on his cell phone. He was riding his bicycle. And so I went up to him. I said, "What are you listening to, young man?" He said, "Little Uzi." I had never heard of Little Uzi, but I decided to put him in the song.
When we roll, we be banging Little Uzi. We be headed to a town down in that SEC. Oh, Daddy bought a box of Mama'd have a bathroom, and I'd have a color TV. 'Cause we're rolling, yeah, we're rolling, but we ain't no pushover. Fat Daddy's got that banging Range Rover. Fat Daddy's got Sometimes we go to that country store in my daddy's black F-150. In my daddy's black F-150. I like to roll with my fat daddy's got a fat pad, or with my family down to 38. Daddy used to hang down in Destin, but now we're rolling. Yeah, we're rolling. But we ain't no pushover. Fat daddy's got that banging Range Rover. Oh yeah. Everybody down here, oh yeah, everybody down here, they love my fat dad, fat dad.
All right, you are just in time. It's Studio C live for Summit members, and it's Charlie Mars here in our Studio C facilities at the radio station. You get invited to these exclusive sessions when you become a member of this local public radio station, TheSummitFM. Charlie Mars has the new record, Times Have Changed, and he's here in Akron and appearing at Musica tonight as part of Brad's Savage Birthday Bash. It's so cool that you decided you were able to come in and do this show for us, because you're out in the country, you got the dog, you're kind of doing your thing, and it's nice of you to make a specific trip here for this show. Thank you.
Well, you guilt tripped me pretty effectively.
Right, I sure did. And we'll just leave it at that. So there we go. No, it's great. Charlie and I go back to before I was in Ohio, back in Charlottesville, Virginia. You came through a number of times on some of the previous albums, and I always liked your real honest songwriting and your, and really just the way you have a sense of explaining the world around us and like the characters you meet. I mean, you're surrounded by characters, right?
I feel like that, yeah.
Yes. What goes into a Charlie Mars song? Like, what makes a good Charlie Mars song, do you think?
I mean, what I try to find in writing a song is where I lose myself and I feel like I'm outside of time and space, and I'm freed from something that feels confining for a little bit. And then the beauty of and not all the songs, it's a hard place to get, but I'm always trying to find that kind of that river, where you're not thinking about anything. And that generally means that I'm not just singing about cliches or stuff that sounds good on paper, but something that's actually coming from the marrow of life. And then when you can capture that moment in a song, then you can share it with other people that can also, when it's great, have that moment themselves. And sometimes through that relationship of sharing it with somebody, it causes me to relive that moment, which is very freeing.
Sure.
And I think that's when my songs are coming, when they hit that spot, which it's not, we'd all like every song to be like that. And some songs are funny, or some songs are, about something that's interesting. But my favorite ones are the ones that just, tap into something bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and
Unlike Fat Dad.
Right.
It's bigger in another way.
But in a way, though, yeah, in a way, the funniness of that is what's so relatable, you know? And so does that come easier kind of being out in the country now, you know, as a writer? Or are you just seeing life even more clearly with, like, you know, with being a little bit detached from the city and all of that?
I think that I'm definitely experiencing life in connection with nature. Maybe more than, you know, I would have previously. Yeah. And there's something that comes from that. There's a certain peace and serenity and, you know, language that sort of stems from that. But, you know, life, you know, I tend to write songs more when I'm on the move and I'm around a lot of people or in strange places. So I think I go there to just sort of rest my soul and then write about maybe what I've seen or sometimes it's much easier to focus on that when there's not 100 things going on.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I just drummed up.
No, I think it makes great sense because we're so busy, and then like the short attention spans of life, you know, and that's what I think comes from a great writer, whether it's a songwriter or a poet or whatever it might be, when you can kind of see, you put it well, the marrow of life. I really like that phrase, you know. So yeah. Anyway, and I get that feeling a lot from the Times Have Changed album. Our guest Charlie Mars, and how about another one here? What do you want to play next?
So this is the title track to the record and the first single, and it's called Times Have Changed. And what it's about, it's kind of, you know, it's in the song, so I'll just sing it. It goes a little something like this.
There's no soda fountain counter, no 5 and dime. Nobody's taking cash, you need a credit line. And it's getting crowded. Man on the TV says it's a getting warm. Ain't no kids in the front yard, no football in the street, no lemonade stand, no tree house in the trees, and it's getting crowded, and it's getting warm. What happened to no, sir? Yes, ma'am, and looking folks in the eye, to family and the good Lord, and thanking Him every night on. I ain't saying I wanted things to stay the same, but man, times have changed. Ain't nobody on the front porch, no rocking in the chair, no neighbors dropping by, 'cause they gotta get somewhere, and I bet it's crowded there, and I bet it's warm. What happened to no, sir? Yes, ma'am, and looking folks in the eye, to family and the good Lord, and thanking Him every night on. I ain't saying I wanted things to stay the same, but man, times have changed. It ain't like leaves in the fall. No, it ain't nothing like that. It's a girl that you love, who ain't ever coming back. Oh, happen to know, sir? Yes, ma'am, I'm looking folks in the eye. The family and the good Lord, and thanking them every night. Oh, I ain't saying I wanted things to stay the same. But times have changed.
Well, it is our friend Charlie Mars here for another Studio C members session here on the Summit. It's kind of like a real honesty to that song, and that's Times Have Changed. We've been playing it a lot. It's a hit. That's been a big one for us.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's the whole point, I guess, right?
I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. So welcome to Akron, Ohio, Mr.
I got to buy a lot of dog food.
Yeah,
so.
he's got the dog food. So Charlie will be selling CDs after our session today. And he's playing tonight at Musica as part of the Savage Birthday Bash. Hey, and so I wanted to ask about Oxford, Mississippi, where you're from. Now you've moved out into the country a little ways, but Oxford, that's the home of Ole Miss, and that's a big college town, right? And so, just tell us a little bit about what that town is like and the feel of life out there.
Oxford is it's a beautiful small southern town centered around a town square that has a sort of idyllic courthouse and two-story buildings that have balconies. It's really beautiful, and I lived on the town square for many, many years, and I love it. It has an incredible bookstore right on the corner. And, it has an ice cream shop and like a local bar where everybody goes. And when I first moved there, it was a small town with a small college. And then the college has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And now it's a big college in a small town. Right. So that comes with its own, challenges, but it's still a very beautiful town. It's like we get to experience all the seasons, and it's fun having football games, because the town's probably 25,000 people, but then we'll get 100,000 people come into town for a football game or whatever, and that's always it's fun to be in, to have a big festive kind of blowout every now and then. And I don't know, a lot of people that I kind of grew up with as a boy live there, and it's a town that historically has had a lot of writers from there. Mm-hmm. And so there's a writer named Larry Brown that I was friends with that wrote like Big Bad Love and Joe, and they made some movies about his books, but he lived like out in the country not too far from where I live. And actually in this video for the song Times Have Changed, if you go and look at it, it's his son and his granddaughter are the stars of the video. Oh. And so, and they're farmers. And so the video is about a father and a daughter in a farm life setting. And There was a writer named Barry Hanna there, who was just a really eccentric guy. And it's like an eclectic mix of students and townies and musicians and academics and people that are like living agricultural farm life. And so it's kind of a fun collage of a lot of different people. And there's a Fat Possum Records is there, which has like R.L. Burnside and the Black Keys, and so it's just been a great place to be based out of and make music and have a life that's worth living.
Well, and I wanted to bring up that Mississippi Delta blues history too, and Fat Possum too, because that's kind of what I thought. And when you called me to confirm our show, I saw your 662 area code, and that song. There's a song 662 by Christone Kingfish Ingram, a blues guy we've been playing in the last couple of years quite a lot. But there's a big history of the blues in that area, right? So did you kind of grow up hearing some of that legend?
I did grow up hearing the hill country blues.
Yeah.
I probably heard about as much as anybody of like Robert Johnson or B.B. King or things like that. But I personally saw a lot of R.L. Burnside shows and Junior Kimbrough shows, and I've played shows with Cedric Burnside. Even like 15 years ago, we would just play, as a little pickup session in a bar. So it was all very it felt very real.
Yeah.
It wasn't really there wasn't any hype around anything. It was just a good time, and we were kind of living history.
And that label, Fat Possum, always has a great roster of a lot of different sounds. And you mentioned the Black Keys. Their earliest records came out on Fat Possum. The Black Keys happen to be from right here in Akron, Ohio.
Okay.
So it all ties together, right?
All ties together.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Around your birthday.
Right around my birthday. Like all planets align. Yeah. There's something for those Pisces. I don't know. Well, how about one more song, Mr. Charlie Mars, our guest? What do you want to play for us next here?
Next, I didn't know I was doing another song, so next I will do. I'm gonna pick something from my catalog.
Perfect. Yep.
I was in Austin, Texas one night, and I met this girl. She was from Utah, and it was her first night there. And we ended up spending 4 years together. And I wrote this song about her. And also, like, sometimes she would go to book club. But I realized, and I've also noticed this with some of my, like, friends, wives or girlfriends, that there's not a lot of book reading going on. And so that kind of plays into it. It's called Mountain Girl.
She said it's my first night in Austin, Texas, and I don't know how I got here. And we danced in the loving places till the loving places disappeared. When did you start reading books? You should call it the wine club. All the boys will line up to be drinking with you. I'm gonna find me a girl on a train with a dragon tattoo to take away this pain until it's gone, girl, and I ain't ever coming back to Utah again. Gonna miss those trees, gonna miss them valleys, gonna miss those leaves in the fall. Gonna miss your father, I'm gonna miss your brother. Gonna miss my mountain girl most of all. When did you start reading books? You should call it the wine club. All them boys will line up to be drinking with you. I'm gonna find me a girl on a train with a dragon tattoo to take away this pain until it's gone, girl, and I ain't ever coming back to you tall again. And you can find me where there's only two choices: blue ocean or white sand. Underneath some blue umbrella, one margarita for half a man. When did you start reading books? You should call it the wine club. All the boys will line up to be drinking with you. I'm gonna find me a girl on a train with a dragon tattoo to take away this pain until it's gone, girl, and I ain't ever coming back. If you find your way south, you'll know where I'm at until it's gone, girl, and I ain't never coming back to Utah again. Gonna miss my mountain girl most of all.
That's our friend Charlie Mars for Studio C, right here on the Summit FM. And before we wrap up, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I'm wondering, do you think you might be able to do Listen to the Dark Side for us? I just love, it's a personal favorite.
I wrote it, so I can probably do it.
Okay, very good.
You want me to tell you the story about
Yes,
it or just play it?
Please do. We love your stories.
Okay, this is a radio story, actually. This song, I wrote it, and if you don't know the song, so the chorus goes like this. If you want to come over and get high. We can listen to the dark side of the moon. So I had just recorded this and put it out, and it started getting played on the radio in a lot of places. And I was in Texas, and this DJ said, "Did you know that this song was going to be a minor hit for you?"
A minor hit.
And so it felt like an underhanded compliment, and that he had invented that phrase strictly for my song. And so, but then I had to say yes, actually, that I did know that it was going to be a minor hit for me. And he said, "How did you know?" And I said, "Well, when I finished recording the record, I had it on CD, and I happened to be in Mississippi, and I was driving my brother's wife's Suburban and following my brother to his in-laws, and I had his 2 children, my nephews, in the back. One was in a car seat. And the album had no curse words, so I thought child-friendly. I put it on. We rocked out for like 45 minutes. They're bopping in the back the whole time. And then we get to my brother's in-laws. The 3 of us get out of the car, and I go up to my brother, and my brother says, "How was your ride with your Uncle Charlie?" And the one that was in the car seat was like, "I want to get high." And or he was like singing the song, you know. And I was thinking, oh, it's catchy, this is good. And so my brother was like, "What's he singing?" And I go, "I don't know." And then I left. And then like 2 weeks later, I get a call from my brother. And he says, "Yeah, I just got a call from my kid's school." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, apparently my son was singing a song in the sandbox, and now all the other kids are singing it." And I was like, "Okay." And he said, "Yeah, it's not okay." And he said, "The teacher said that she thought that the song was about listening to the psychedelic group Pink Floyd and engaging in an illicit activity." And then I was like, "Oh, no." And he said, "What is that?" And of course I had to tell him it was my song, "Listen to the Dark Side." But what I should have told him was that it's my minor hit. So here's my minor hit, "Listen to the Dark Side."
Hey, Abigail, I know your day has been hell. Don't take to heart the words that he says. I know you're a good girl. You're not out to hurt nobody. He's just trying to get in your head. Oh, if you wanna come over and get high. We can listen to the dark side of the moon. If you wanna come over and get high. We can listen to the dark side of the moon. Hey, 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 my friend, are you at it again? I think you hold your heart too close to the vest. I know you're a good man. You're not out to hurt nobody. She's just trying to get in your head. Oh, if you wanna come over and get high. We can listen to the dark side of the moon. If you wanna come over and get high. We can listen to the dark side of the moon. And I won't have the right words. I won't have the right words to say. There's just no magic cure for the games people play. So if you wanna come over, hey, Abigail, I know your day has been hell. Don't take to heart the words that he says. I know you're a good girl. You're not nobody. He's just trying to get in your head. If you wanna come, if you wanna come. Okay, we all gotta sing along for Brad Savage's birthday. 1, 2, 3. If you wanna come over and get high. We can listen to the dark side of the moon. If you wanna come over and get high. We can listen to the dark side of the moon. If you wanna come over and get high. We can listen to the dark side of the moon. If you wanna come over and get high. We can listen to the dark side of the moon.
Well, I just love it. I mean, as far as minor hits go, that's a personal favorite there.
Number one.
That's Charlie Mars, another Wayside Furniture and Blind & Sons Studio C performance. We are packed full with Summit members in the room for this recording and video event. And remember, when you become a member of this local independent public radio station, these are the good things that start happening. You get invited to Studio C, you get to meet people like Charlie Mars. So we appreciate you being here. This has been really fun. We love your storytelling. I think you should do an audio book or something, or a podcast.
Brad Savage, you're literally, I told the girl, is it Katie that I read over here today?
Yep.
I was like, I can name like 3 people in my life that I've met that always make my day brighter, and you're one of them.
Oh, geez.
It's true.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it is a great honor that Charlie has come to town for the Savage Birthday Bash tonight. So that's at Musica in Akron, doors at 7. We have Brooke Surgeoner from Erie, PA. We have Katie Robinson and the Wanderers, and Candace Campana with her full band, and then Truss out of Cleveland. And how about one more hand for our guest of honor, Charlie Mars.